This is just a video on an old Contract Systems and Associates tester. Got the obviously ex-military, military surplus, something other of that nature. Got this at a Hamfest last year for $4. It was obviously a lot more than that, considering that the government pays for things. It is a combination potential frequency polarity tester. In this case, there are neon indicators for a higher potential DC. There's one that indicates that the red lead, because there's a pair of probe leads on it, one of which indicates that the red lead is relative negative, the other one indicates the black lead is relative negative. Then there's an indicator for 60 cycles per second and for 400 cycles per second. And for potential, there's 115 volts, 220 volts to 250 volts, and 440 volts to 500 volts. Then there's also a pair of LED indicators for indication on 28 volts, and those will work, albeit much dimmer, on 12 volts. But both of them light up. They don't serve any kind of, regardless of the polarity on DC, and they both light up on AC, so there's no indication whatsoever. So I don't know. Those do not serve. So those don't work as polarity indication on DC. And then there's warnings on it. Read instructions before use. Do not use on radio frequency, and do not use 600 volts. That is most likely because that, from what I can determine of the circuit, the frequency indicators use a pair of notch RC filters, and the capacitors in them on radio frequency would serve as a dead short, which would probably kill the tester, considering that this thing was probably a few $100 originally. Considering it's just a little plastic case with a circuit board in it, and there's a little... This actual panel is just held in place by a little piece of masking tape. Although mounted to the circuit board, there's a big plastic plate that keeps this rigid, but typical little tester thingamajig. About 30 years old. It was, according to the foil bag it was originally in, because this, like lots of military stuff, comes in. It came in a paper and foil bag. According to the date on that, it was made in 1981. So, anyways, probably going to see about getting some more if I can see any more of them. Although one thing with these, due to the frequency indication arrangements, you probably want to be careful about using it on square wave inverters, because due to the very fast rise time when the potential is going from 0 volts to the peak of either polarity, since often I've got a lot of things with capacitors that make all kinds of weird noises on that, which is why I got the much more expensive pure sine inverter. But anyways, really interesting little gadget, but probably want to be careful on using it on square wave inverters or something. Oh, yeah. And it's got a little Velcro thingamajig on the back for holding the leads in place, little things for the leads, so all in all fairly useful.